You know what I'm saying? If they're sleeping, then they're not going to answer. And if they were sleeping, then they are going to be awake because you just woke them up by asking them. Of course you're you, Hansa. Are you
Am
Hansa? I don't know. You could have been
Do you know?
Conrad talking. Is Conrad talking?
I am now.
Oh, you do sound a little like Hamza if you only say one word at a time. Hamza, say a word.
Chicken.
Okay, now Conrad, you say a word.
A word.
See? It's like the same guy. I think. Do you guys
Well, that's
think?
it for Podtoid this week. Next week, where we will have another collection of sentences just arranged like a fucking car crash.
That wasn't so bad. I think that was going to be interesting for the listeners. If assuming you're
I guarantee at least 50% of the listeners are erect.
no, not that kind of
Yeah,
interesting.
just
It's like,
it was that engrossing. Like how you watch a football match and get an erection, even though it is not sexy, it is just for excitement. They are just so interested in that conversation about how Conrad sounds a bit like Hamza.
well, then maybe they didn't know. They're going to have a fun mystery time with that.
Oh, don't. Those tantalizing words just booted them into pre-cum territory.
I used to get boners if I just felt really bad for someone. Sympathetic boners.
Really? Because I might have cancer. Did that work?
No, I don't feel bad.
One day I will get a cancer boner out of you.
Maybe.
That's the dream. It's the great American dream. And that's what Podtoid's all about this week. The great American dream.
That's wonderful.
Can we go back to how Holmes gets sympathetic boners?
Well, that's part of the American dream is Jonathan Holmes getting a giant erection when he sees a sad child.
Not a child.
Well, who are more sympathetic? Who is there anything more sympathetic than a child?
This explains Podtoid so much because, I mean, we make Holmes so miserable that obviously he only does it because he likes getting the boners from it.
No, I don't get boners from being miserable.
So Podtoid is the only way that Jonathan Holmes can masturbate, I think is what we're learning.
Oh my god.
Because anyone else who put up with this bullshit, anyone else, like, I think there was something wrong with them, and it turns out there's nothing wrong with you. You just masturbate to your own salty grief.
That's not true. I have never masturbated during Podtoid. Though if I did, there's a term for it called shadowballing. You guys know that one?
No.
That's when you're bored talking to friends, usually on the phone, but it could be Skype these days. Though the term predates Skype. It's an old term. And you're just playing around there downstairs while your friends are chatting away, and you're like, oh yeah, is that so? It's not quite phone sex because you're not even horny, really. You're just masturbating out pure boredom.
I don't think five minutes passes before my hands gravitate towards my filthy berries. So
no, I used to do that for telemarketers all the time. You know,
for them?
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, for their benefit, clearly.
I was gonna say to keep you from being bored with them, you would start just massaging your scrotum and stuff,
and then describing it to them.
Well, they called you. If they don't like the conversation, they can hang up at any time. So it's not really
think that's
harassment.
reasonable.
Yeah, very reasonable.
I think the question on everybody's dry, cracked lips is, what do you masturbate to, if not this, Jonathan?
Who, me?
Yeah. You're the only
memories?
Jonathan here. Memories.
A lot of memory masturbating.
Yeah. Like a trip to the beach.
No.
Your first birthday party.
Christmas,
1993. You got a boglin that year. And a monster in my pocket.
Was that Boglin? I think Boglins were before 93. Man, time has flown.
They were at least in Britain they were the 90s, because I was a 90s child, which, to be honest, was mostly made up of repeats from the 80s. But I was a big Boglins collector. I was actually looking them up today because I miss
yeah?
having Boglins around the house. Like once
I
you've
still
had,
have one,
you-
which you might have seen pictures of. He only has one hand now. I don't know what happened
oh,
to the other one. But yeah, it's the original Boglin that I've had since elementary school. So for me, that's, geez, I think junior high was 88 for me. That's when I got in there. So it's before that.
they're expensive now.
Are they really?
They're on. I was looking them up on eBay. They're more money than I want to spend on them. I really
They
want
should
them
just make new ones
for the
then.
memories. I think they tried relaunching them at some point and it didn't go too well, as it usually does. I think they did that with Monster in My Pocket as well. They did it recently with Go-Go's Crazy Bones.
I don't even know what that is. Whose bones is that?
Go-Go's, presumably.
Who's Go-Go?
It's crazy.
Not Go-Go from Kill Bill. Different
No,
Go-Go.
no, it's a totally different Go-Go.
Ah, all right. I'll check into that.
Yeah, they were these little. It was around that whole Pog thing. The Pog.
Amazing how
I had
times have
Pogs.
changed. Yeah, a lot of people did.
I had a huge collection of Pogs. I had the Pogs and several books about Pogman with cards in the middle with pop-out Pogs. I had
Whoa.
exclusive Pogs from Chex or whatever the cereal was, Golden Grahams maybe.
Those are cereals, yeah.
Yeah, I had Pog the game, the official board game.
I had a slammer.
Oh, I
one.
heard about those.
Just one.
We in the
It-
biz call them Keenies.
Yeah. And it had a decal of O.J. Simpson behind bars.
What?
Wow.
Text on it that said O.J. in the slammer.
In Slammer.
Whoa.
That's a good
Yeah.
one. I had
If
one.
that's worth framing, yeah, that sounds great.
I'm thinking of carving my own of Jonathan Holmes on it, bent over with me behind him, and also it would say Jim Sterling in the Slammer.
Is my butt the slammer?
Your butt, your anus, Jonathan, in this scenario is the Slammer, and by in it means my penis has gone up it and goes out a little bit and then back in, and then out a little bit and back in, and then it slips out the third time, and then I have to fumble around and push it back in, and you're like, oh, like that, and then we continue like that to the point of issue.
Issue.
Semen.
Oh, that's the issue.
Yeah, which you then have to dribble out of your ass.
I guess I wouldn't have much of a choice.
Yeah. Look forward to Thomas Truong animating that idea.
I hope not, 'cause that's yucky.
Yeah.
And can an anus be a slammer?
I don't know, but I was actually into the animation thing. We've moved away from anuses briefly.
Yeah, but
Calm down with the anuses, Jonathan.
Yeah.
Calm down.
Your obsession with
Your
your
obsession
ass is like it's narcissistic. Well, narcissistic, to be honest. Keep the conceit to yourself for give it a rest for 2 hours. We don't want to keep hearing about your ass, Holmes.
I don't like talking about my ass.
Well, you like me talking about it, clearly.
No, I don't.
This is entrapment. You are entrapping me.
Darn it! No, I'm not.
Face.
Darn it! No, I just want to.
No one wants to look at your rusty slideshow.
That's fine.
Oh, please keep making those noises. Do that for 2 hours.
Anus is negative space, right, guys? So it can't slam anything. It's like it's
positive space for me.
Oh my God! You may have found the secret to fusion.
What?
It's
what?
Holmes' anus.
No, it's not.
Matter,
it's just
antimatter, just right there. It's a negative space. Meeting with the physical world.
I'm just trying to say it's a hole, and a hole is the lack of something, not something that can slam a thing. You can't slam something with your hole, you guys. Can you?
Oh, I don't know. Grab a donut.
I've done it. I've grabbed donuts, and I can't slam anything with that hole.
Don't put yourself down. I'm sure you could slam me with your ass.
I don't think so. Maybe my butt cheeks. I could give you like a butt bump.
We'll have to test this out.
We don't have to.
we do have to. I mean, we're men of science.
That's true.
That's
It is
true.
interesting, and you only live once. You might as well see what you can do. But I don't have any urge to do that. That experiment. It's troubling in the long run.
Okay. As I was hinting at, some of you, if you went to PAX, you'll know. But for those that didn't, there is going to be a cartoon of Podtoid. God help us all. Thomas Strong, who did an animation a while back. I don't know, how'd you say it? Truong?
Truong, I think.
I've just been
I
trying
think
to.
it's true.
I've been trying to roll it so it sounds vague and I could be saying anything.
Just call him by his Detoid name.
What's his Detroit name, Hamza? I only talked to him via email.
Cutie Honey.
Oh yeah, one of my favorite Japanese cartoons by Go Nagi. I should sing the theme song later for you guys. Anyway, you were saying, Jim?
Well, Cutie Honey, a while back, did a fantastic animation of a section of Podtoid where I was describing Divine Cybermancy, that game, to Max and Tara and Jonathan, the old Podtoid crew. And it was very good. And then Hamza really liked it. And Hamza said, do more. And he said, okay. And now it is a thing.
That's pretty crazy.
It's fucking amazing. If you weren't at the panel, I weep for your loss. I've seen it. We've all seen it. It's fantastic. He previewed it at Destructoid's panel at PAX this past weekend, and it was a section from a few weeks back where we talked about Jonathan Holmes' plan he submitted to us, where he wanted to be Spider-Man, and we all sort of brainstormed and came up with an idea together. Where we would throw spiders at Jonathan, and which Thomas animated superbly. I mean, it's fucking hilarious.
It makes Podtoid seem like something I would want to listen to.
Which is no small feat when you factor in the fact that we are A, shit, and B, Conrad, like, literally doesn't like listening and watching a lot of stuff.
Right,
Yeah.
most stuff he doesn't
Yeah.
want to watch.
So to get over those two barriers of he's already apathetic toward web content of this nature, and we are shit. And yet he almost wants to watch it, which
I'm on the verge. I'm on the verge of listening to this podcast.
I watched it several times already. The debut. It's fantastic. He's done some other clips that are coming up. It's all going to be stuff that we've talked about on the episodes. More or less, I guess they're picked at his discretion, so they're all his favourite bits. And what can I say? The guy's got good taste. So,
Well, is any of it going to be video game related, do you think? Because he seems drawn to the Jonathan Holmes torture ideas. I guess that's a segment.
There have only been 2 videos so far.
Right. I wonder what his plans are.
And one of them was about a video game, and one of them was a Jonathan Holmes torture segment. I mean, planned.
Jonathan, what the hell is a Vigogog?
A Vigogog?
Is that the bad guy from Ghostbusters 2? We don't talk about it at all on Podtoid.
Is Vigo? I don't know what a Vigogog is.
It should be him, though.
I should be Vigo?
You should be Vigo. If we got a picture frame and you just stood behind it all day long with your hands on your hips, just staring, and did that in my house, I would be very happy. And I could just walk past you every day and go, "It's Vigo!"
That was Peter McNichol, I think, who played that little guy. Not Vigo, the other
Vigo's
guy.
little mate.
Yeah.
Yeah, I would like to do that. And then I will wear torches over my head and go stalk Sigourney Weaver.
That sounds pretty good. Ghostbusters 2 isn't totally bad. I don't
No,
think.
that's a pretty solid sequel. I
think it's
enjoyed
a
it.
good film.
Yeah, it's got some
Said
good
it was
parts.
bad.
A lot of people.
I'll hunt them down with a crossbow.
That's a lot of. You'll have to bring a lot of. What do they call those? Rounds or stakes or just
Bolts.
arrows? Bolts. That's it. Yeah, because a lot of people hate Ghostbusters.
Come on, Jonathan. I'd have you on this show specifically for your crossbow knowledge.
I've never shot a crossbow. Not
Well,
yet.
you're going to have to learn.
How come?
What do you mean, how come? You know why.
I don't.
Because it's the year 2012, Jonathan. The world's going to end.
This year?
This year? Didn't you see the films? Like 2012 and other films like that.
Sure, there's I think there was one starring Dean Cain on Sci-Fi Channel called 20 and 12 or something like that.
Mute your microphone.
That is not me this time.
No, it is. I can see it lighting up.
Well, I can hear it. Whatever.
I've got you on candid camera.
It's not me, is it? My dog has been attacking
Every
me
time I hear a
furiously.
scratchy, the highlight around Holmes's photo lights up, so I know.
So it wasn't me.
I am like Orwell.
My dog has been furiously
I can hear that right
attacking
now.
me.
That is not me.
Is it me?
I'm going by what I see.
You
Hamza?
could be hitting the microphone against the cable again. That was something. Yeah. Holmes.
Oh, yeah. All right. My dog is seriously on the verge of bleeding right now. She's tearing me
I'm just
apart.
going by what the
What are
science
you
tells
doing to your
me.
dog?
Yeah, the
dog
first
is
8
just-
minutes of Sup Holmes was just a lot of like his wire hitting the mic, and I'm watching it happen. And I'm like typing in the chat like, "Oh please God, notice this!" And
You're
eventually,
miserable.
he did.
Yeah,
notice
eventually I did. Yeah.
That's
So I'm
What
holding.
are you doing?
Oh, my dog. Oh,
When are you going to cut that dog's fucking legs off?
I don't know. It loves me.
Cut its legs off, then you've got like a hairy worm. And that's less fuss for us.
That was my old theory. Instead of death penalty, I thought they should just cut people's arms and legs off and then give them a job being like a toilet licker or something.
That's a fantastic idea for a section. Cruel and unusual punishments with John.
Well, it's better than death penalty. And then death penalty people would be like, "Oh no, that's really bad." And I'm like, killing a guy is worse. I think.
They cut my arms and legs off and make me lick toilets. I think I'd prefer a lethal injection.
Not me.
You would rather spend the rest of your life with no arms and legs, just crawling around as a withered torso, licking a toilet.
Absolutely better than
Jonathan
just
Holmes, I've got a business proposition for you. Because that represents an ideal dream for me. One of many ideal dreams I've got is you rolling around legless and armless on my floor, just licking toilets.
Well, it's not something I want to do, but if I had to choose that or death, I'd go with that, because at least you can have like fun dreams.
I got something you would want to do.
What would I want to do?
I would like to employ you as a cat. I've been thinking about this the other day. I was thinking of things, because Resident Evil 6 was stolen. Copies were stolen in Europe, guys. This is
I
sick.
heard about that, yeah.
Thievery by rats in Europe. Disgusting Europeans.
I wonder how many copies it was.
A million. Probably. Anyway, they're selling, like, one of them was on eBay for, like, $1,000. Like 1,000 and something euro. The fucking
Whoa.
people were bidding on it. Morons were bidding on it. Like, it went up to, like, $484 or something.
Whoa.
Euro or what have you. And and it got me thinking, like, what I would spend. I wrote about this because I wrote about the theft. And what would I spend $1,000 on? It certainly wouldn't be to play a game a month early. Like, that's got a limited value. Because really you're spending $1,000 for that month. Because once the month passes, what you've got isn't unique anymore. Whereas if I spent $1,000 to have you live in my house on all fours like a cat, that's forever.
Is it? Can't I quit?
I don't know what the word quit means. I'm not
That's
a
true.
quitter. I'm not a quitter, and nor are you. You're a challenger, which is why I want you crawling around my house naked on all fours, just being a cat. And then when I say, "Are you a cat?" to you, you don't have to meow. I will just say, "Are you a cat?" and you just look up to me and say yes.
Sounds decent. I mean, I'm glad I don't have to meow. That's embarrassing. You reach a certain age when you can't stick your bottom lip out and you can't do baby eyes and you can't meow anymore, or else it just really makes people uncomfortable.
I've never seen an old man say meow.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
If they know what they're doing socially, they're not going to stick their bottom lip out or bite their bottom lip and be like, ooh. And they're not going to do baby face and they're not going to meow because people get really uncomfortable.
Unless
I've done
they've
it.
had a stroke. And they do all that.
That's true. Once you reach a certain level of unhealthiness, you can do whatever you want.
Yeah,
Post-stroke or just like
I'm learning that. I just sit back all day and say, "Give me a snack milk."
People want you to be healthy. Some guys, I was at a restaurant with some guys, and they were like, tell Jim Sterling that if he loses a lot of weight, so he's really healthy, that you'll have sex with him. And I'm like, what? No, why would I? They're like, nope, you should tell Jim Sterling that on the next episode of Podtoid. And then if you don't have sex with him later, you can just back out and say, I did it for his health. But you should at least tell him.
But then I will be healthier and stronger by then.
And you are taller than me.
And that, I wouldn't get me into a state where I can physically overpower you. It's best where we are, where I am weak and pathetic. But that's good. I'm glad people care. I'm still doing my thingy. I do a Red Dwarfs episode a day of exercise.
That's great.
On the old bikey bike. That's all right.
That's good to hear.
That's right, yeah.
Yeah. I miss Conrad and Hamza. I feel like I've just been talking over those poor guys.
Hello, guys.
Hello.
You guys were at PAX.
I do want to add that I think we forgot to mention that the Podtoid episode will be online soon, and subsequent episodes will be appearing on the internet eventually.
Is that going to be on Thomas's channel, or is that going to be on Destructoid's YouTube?
That is definitely it!
Yeah. Are you in a beanbag?
Yeah, it just sounds like you're got some scratchy paper you're scratching around.
Was that me again?
Absolutely.
Yeah, you're scratching.
How sent? Damn,
It's like you're just dancing on dry penny pasta.
I'm gonna need to find a new mic. I'll do it later.
Pasta.
Or I'm just gonna not move.
Do you have a beard now?
Yes.
Oh, you have a beard now, Hamza.
Oh, really?
Your beard's rubbing against the microphone, Hamza. Getting beard rubs.
No, I don't think that's it.
You sure? Hold it up to your nose.
So we were at PAX, Conrad and I. How'd you like PAX, Conrad?
I went up for 2 days of PAX. It was just the right amount of PAX. It was fine. I have no complaints. I enjoyed the show. People seemed in good spirits.
What they got?
Yeah, a lot of... Well, I spent pretty much my entire show back in the Indie Mega Booth, which was like all the indies got together and pooled their resources and just got the entire back corner of the exhibition hall.
How popular was it? Were a lot of people there?
Well, it was packed pretty much the entire time the show floor was open.
Awesome.
How often do you have to wait to play an indie game no one's ever heard of?
Right, but that was happening?
Oh, yeah, I was waiting to play Super Time Force for like 15 minutes. Just,
awesome.
Just standing behind people and just loving the game and not wanting to put the controller down. Yeah. So what they did is they made it like it was as impressive to me as any major publisher booth in terms of it just feeling unified and busy and high energy level, and every little dev had their own sort of booth set up, and most of them were they weren't just the typical black curtain background and sign that so often happens at these kinds of shows. They were crafting booth stuff and selling merchandise, and it was pretty happening.
I'm so happy to hear that. That was put together in part by Phil Tibotowski. Tibotowski? I can never say his name. Oh, sorry, Phil. Who's creating Octodad. He's on the Young Horses team. Yeah. So I was really rooting for that because I like Phil, and I just want him to succeed. And it sounds like he did. That's awesome.
Yeah, I think it was really successful, and a lot of good games, a lot of fun stuff. I still have like a couple previews I'm finishing up, and one of them is this game called Quadrilateral Cowboy, which is from Blendo. They're the guys who did Atom Zombie Smasher and a bunch of other just sort of strange games. And this is like a first-person perspective game where you're running a simulator to instruct someone else ultimately how to do a break-in of a facility. So you're like the mastermind. Huh. And you find a route into the building, and to open grates and doors and shut off lasers and turn off cameras, you use this laptop with a command line interface into Telnet. And it's amazing.
Whoa.
It's so great. I'm sitting down there and I was like, holy crap. And it's kind of funny, I mean, you don't need a lot of like DOS knowledge or command line interface knowledge to play the game, but it helps because like I sat down and I instantly understood, commands and how to find out what to do and so forth. And then I saw some other people later who were just like kind of struggling a little bit with it. So I think some of that helped, but it was just neat. And, the planning and then eventual execution of the puzzles, it's fun. So
That sounds great. That's right in line with what I'm hoping to see more of, and happily I've seen more and more of it as time's gone on. Really not babying the player in those ways and expecting them to want to step up to a challenge.
Well, but what's interesting at the same time is that everything that you needed to do to accomplish the demo was laid out in very clear terms through signage that blended in with the background. It was perfectly, it was like working signs or pardon the mess kinds of signs, the things you'd see at a corporate building or whatever, with that kind of organization and font and whatnot. And so it would give you hints in that text as to how to accomplish all of these things. It was very straightforward, but you did have to, look around the environment, see them and read them and then process in your mind what that meant.
Right, which is more than a lot of games are brave enough to ask players to do these days. So that's awesome.
You play anything cool, Hansa?
I think the only game I really played was Super Time Force. That was really cool. I played at PAX East, and there's a significant difference with the game since last PAX. They've definitely made the controls and the overall gameplay feel a lot tighter, and it's a little more player friendly too. And they showed off a new level set in a Jurassic period, and you had to save another member of the Super Time Force, and his name was Zachosaurus. He's a radical skateboarding raptor, and once he joins your team, he has like some cool melee attacks. Beyond that, I saw Loco Psycho, Twisted Pixel's new game. It's not playable yet. It was a very early look at the game. Kind of think like Spy Hunter, but like the fighting mechanics of Batman Arkham City. So you're this sentient motorcycle, and you are escaping a laboratory. You're going through the level, and you also have this guy named Pablo, who only speaks Spanish, stuck to your bike the whole entire time. They don't really explain it. They're going to explain it later, but it makes no sense. It's ridiculous, the entire premise. So you have guns, but you also do like karate moves with your tire wheels, and you could use Pablo as like a melee weapon. So you could use him and smack other players and other vehicles with him. It was a very quick look, and I have hopes for it. I was talking to Michael Wilford, the CEO of Twisted Pixel, and like I think my main concern with the game was that it would fall into the same traps of Comic Jumper, where really cool story and premise and all that, but the gameplay gets repetitive and old pretty quick. And like he was pretty upfront with me saying that they knew that was an issue with Comic Jumper, and they're gonna avoid that with this one. And
is it like XYZ Axis gameplay, or is it the Twisted Pixel 2D kind of left to right? Because most of their games, other than the Maw, and I guess the Gunstringer, has been, like Explosion Man, and
it's full 3D. Like I mean, like imagine a racing game because you're a motorcycle, you're driving around on the level. So like it's that behind camera, it's a third person perspective. And I'm sure there will probably be like some 2D elements to it because some of the trailers made it look like there's some side-scrolling elements, but for the most part, it's all 3D.
Huh. Sounds really cool. They're pretty much the number one reason to turn on my Xbox in terms of exclusives. They make me feel great. I'm happy about those guys.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Otherwise, I really didn't try to play anything else. I kind of just walked the show floor mostly, talked to people, saw friends. A lot of the content that was at PAX we had seen prior at E3 or Gamescom. So, I mean, it was mostly the indie mega booth that had all the cool new stuff that Conrad, Jordan, Chad, and some others checked out.
Yeah, and then there was the Metal Gear announcements. That was pretty huge.
Yeah, actually, before we go to that, I just remember Nicholas Tyrone. He gave me something for you. I can't say on air what it is.
For me?
But I'll be sending that to you along with a couple of shirts from for their games.
Oh, awesome. Yeah,
Oh,
I've
those were
got.
great shirts.
Were they
Yeah,
Cave Story shirts?
I'm keeping the black logo Japanese text one, but the other two shirts I'm sending to you.
What's a
They
Japanese? Oh,
One of them is an Aben Hawkins and the Thousand Spike shirt.
oh, cool.
Yeah, it's pretty boss.
Yeah.
Neat. What's the one you're keeping, Hamza?
It's a black shirt, but it has this Japanese text that I forget what it says, but it looks really cool. It's black and gold. The text is gold, and it kind of looks like a phoenix in a way. The writing style is presented on the shirt.
Okay, I won't miss that one. I'm sure it looks good, but I'm just
Yeah,
a
I'll look great
weirdo
on it.
for. Yeah,
The
you
shirt
look.
reads, "I cry when I masturbate."
I just want the video game shirts. Just good-looking shirts.
Yeah,
Doesn't much.
you'll like these. There's one that has like a guy next to it with 1,000. He looks like Mario in that style of drawing retro Mario. Sorry,
Okay.
Metal Gear. Yes, Ground Zeroes.
Yeah, that happened. That was a big announcement. Probably the biggest announcement PAX has ever had. At least that I can think of for a. What
How
do you think?
sticky
Yeah.
do you reckon that guy's head was
Which guy?
in that demo?
The snake.
The guy is all Freddy
Big
Krueger
Boss?
head.
He's wet looking.
Oh,
At the
What?
beginning,
Yeah.
before you see Snake, there's that guy in the army uniform, and he's got like a little manky up head.
Yeah. I wonder why he's so manky.
Yeah, how sticky do you reckon it is?
Really, pretty.
I reckon it's fucking
viscous.
gross. He
They
looks
really.
like Verger from.
he reminds me of one of the main villains from Ghost in the Shell, the second season. Like, there's this main protagonist that has a similar fucked up face and similar overcoat and top hat or whatever. But I always presume that it's quite sticky and very very rough to the touch, Jim.
Yeah. I'm gonna guess. Oh no. He must be dead. Because I was trying to think of someone who might wear something like that and be all manked up, and I thought of Vulcan, who obviously got electrocuted and burned at the end of Snake Eater. But he looks maybe a bit too thin to be him. Although I imagine the burning would shed a few pounds.
I was guessing it was Null because it's called Ground Zeroes, and Null is a character from Portable Ops, and it seems like Ground Zeroes is really trying to take the games that Kojima was really invested in, the PSP ones, which he considered to be real Metal Gear games, not just spin-offs like Metal Gear Acid and whatnot, and expand it into a full console experience.
Risky though, tying it into that like so strongly to the portable ones, which would break the fan base up a bit.
True.
Because there's no way Peace Walker and Portable Ops were as popular as the console ones. Just looking at the breakup, logistically I don't see how that would work. So there's going to be Metal Gear fans that missed out. Like, I mean, I'm a huge Metal Gear fan, and even I'm yet to.
But Peace Walker is available as part of the HD collection.
True.
Yeah.
True.
So it's available to that audience that never went portable, at least to some degree.
But there's a certain message that is sent when you put your game on a home console and it's as expensive as games can get. It says to people, oh, they really meant it. They really think this game is good. Whereas if you put it on the PSP, people think, they must not have really thought it was that great if they put it on a portable that's only popular in Japan, which is not the message they are meaning to send. I mean, I know Kojima thinks that Peace Walker could have been called Metal Gear Solid 5 and is worthy of the name.
I mean, he says it's a sequel.
Game.
He says it's a sequel, but I don't think the audience are ever going to see it that way.
No.
I mean, it's not even set up. The way it's set up into like a bite-sized mission structure, it just doesn't, even on a console, doesn't feel like a Metal Gear Solid game.
God, do I like that aspect of it, though.
This is the first Metal Gear I really got into because of that whole bite-sized aspect of it.
I mean, it's not that I don't love Kojima's, 25-minute sprawling, whatever, where I do nothing but sit and wait. But to know that I could like do a mission or two in that kind of time and then put the game down and walk away and be all right with where I am story-wise is just, I'm sorry, I'm kind of over Metal Gear Solid's lengthy crap.
Well, it's gotten worse and worse, but he did have to reel it in. It was a limitation that worked for the player, I think, with Peace Walker. I liked Peace Walker a lot. I just didn't like the healing factor reliant gameplay. I just would lie around for a long time and heal. It made it too easy to do that. And I guess I could have been self-disciplined and forced myself not to take advantage of the game's mechanics in order to survive, but
Well, I think that's right in line with the design of all the Metal Gear games in that, with ranking and so forth, time matters and all of that, but you can at any time choose to throw all of that away and have the easy out.
yeah, I just thought it was even easier in Peace Walker. Like in Snake Eater, there's a trade-off. You can heal, but your stamina is gonna reduce, and then you have to hunt around and find food in order to increase your stamina, and it's not as much a free ride. But in Peace Walker, you can literally just lie around anytime and
Yeah, but
and be
food's
fine.
so plentiful in Snake Eater that it hardly matters at all.
It mattered to me. Then you have to hunt around, and it's like a thing you gotta do, even if you didn't want to. Meow. You got a beard, Hamza?
Did you just meow?
I did. I know that we made a rule against that earlier. But
You are practicing to be my cat.
When I'm just making sounds that I know my friends are just like, oh, he's just making sounds now. I don't even really care about what he's saying. I get the point already. Then I just think, meow, meow, meow. Or sometimes I think Star Fox. Just blah, 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 blah. Feel like I'm that guy. Yeah. Oh, that was good. Who did that? Which one of you did that? Conrad?
I did.
That was very good, Conrad. I enjoyed it. So anyway, Ground Zeroes. Could be good. Looks pretty fancy. That's a PS3 game, they're saying?
They haven't said. I don't think they have.
I think they said it was running. It's designed for current gen consoles, but they ran it off a PC spec'd to PS3, which I don't believe.
Yeah.
I don't believe that for a second. But we'll see. I'm always skeptical when they say it'll look this good on a console when they're running it off of any PC. But it's supposed to be for 360, PS3, I guess. At least PS3.
Can't see why, if it wasn't going to be for PS3, there'd be no advantage to them or to Sony to say that right now at all. That it would be much better to just lie and get people to keep buying PS3s and keep thinking that this generation is relevant until the time comes to say, oh, and this is what it's really coming out on, and this is how awesome it's going to look, and to blow people's minds after the next PlayStation, next Xbox get announced. So yeah, I don't trust them either. I don't see why they would want to tell me the truth right now. So that said, why believe them? Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
I'm tired.
Oh.
I'm tired.
I don't want to talk.
I am tired.
Yeah. But you got to talk. People. If
I know.
Talk, people will complain. People don't want us to talk on the podcast.
People don't know what they want. We can feed them any old crap. And I love it.
I don't think that's true. I think they really do tune in. I mean, it's known now as Podtoid with Jim Sterling.
They
it's
do
like
tune
the Daily
in.
Show with Jon Stewart.
And complain. And one guy, he complained about 5 or 6 episodes ago.
Yeah.
And said that he didn't like Podtoid anymore.
Oh.
And then complained last week. So he's still listening for, I imagine, 2... I mean, actually, the complaint last week was a full summary of events. Written, obviously, unhappily. Of, like, this is Podtoid in a nutshell. 30 minutes of Jim telling Holmes to have baby police. Then another 30 minutes of him doing the exact same thing, but with Willem Dafoe.
That's pretty funny.
Listened to the whole thing and didn't like any of it. So I'm sorry.
Speaking of William Dafoe, there's a D-Twitter who had a picture of William Dafoe, and he got me and Conrad to sign it. He was hoping you two would be there too to get it signed. If you look at the group photo from PAX this year, actually, he's holding up the picture of William Dafoe as well in the shot.
Oh,
That is very nice.
I do feel sad that I didn't. There were a lot of people that had things for me to do stuff at for them, and other such things that I obviously couldn't do because I love PAX. PAX is my favourite of the stuff we do. So I'm very sad that I couldn't go, and I'm sad that there were people that were sad that myself and Holmes couldn't go. It was sad all round.
It is sad. I was happy for the people that were there, though.
Yeah, they had a nice time, I'm sure.
Time. And people did like Baby Police enough to start a very troubling Baby Police Twitter account.
Yes, they did.
Which made me feel real bad because one officer in the Baby Police force just immediately started making very explicit sexual come-ons to me. Like exactly what the baby wanted to do to me. And like, will that please you, sir? Like just making me feel like I'm the worst human on the planet. Like I was somehow complacent in this sex with babies idea.
What did I miss?
Frown. It was a frowner. It was a real frowner, yeah.
I think it's very nice that someone might have an interest in you physically, even if they are a pretend baby.
Yeah, it was
Coworkers are right out. You just can't dip your pen in the company ink.
I agree, but I could have sworn that part of Jim's idea was that then I have that's a invite for a story though, but you don't kiss and tell.
Shut up.
All right, I'm shutting it. My mouth. Oh.
I like it when Hobbs tells people to do the thing he should have done in the first place.
Some other news happened.
What?
You want to keep talking about video games? Yeah, they announced another Final Fantasy XIII game.
Oh, I don't like where this is going.
Well, I don't know much about it. It's called the Lightning Saga.
Fucking hell. Lightning Returns.
That's it.
Lightning Returns, Final Fantasy XIII. That's the full name for it. She returns, guys! The character we've all been waiting for to come back.
Wasn't she in Final Fantasy XIII too, though? Just not as much?
Yeah. Now she returns. Because she was in a thing. And now she's back. We're hungry for more. And we're hungry for more because she's never given us anything. And maybe by the third game she will have a personality.
Some people think she's got the most personality out of all the Final Fantasy XIII characters.
No, they're just looking at her tits.
Oh. Those are personalities.
They are objectifying them. Jonathan, anyone who says that Lightning is a good character is a sexist.
Whoa.
Have you seen her personality?
Exactly.
I know a lot of people that want to have sex with Snow. Is that his name? The guy with the bandana?
Oh, what? Fucking Brendan Fraser in The Mummy. That's what he was. I don't even know what the basis of that accusation is, but that's what he was.
It was pretty mean, yeah.
I don't get this whole Lightning thing. It's like that Square had decided that she was Solid Snake or Mario or some other iconic character without there ever being any proof that that was the case. It was one of those age-old marketing tactics of just say she is great, and then she will be great. Because I see nothing about her, even among Final Fantasy protagonists, which, to be honest, aren't always the most exciting bunch of people. But even Cloud had some sort of persona, something you could use, like a word you could use to describe him. All I've got for Lightning is slightly pink hair.
It's like our old, great wise friend Vladimir Lenin said, "A lie told often enough becomes the truth."
That's pretty much it. That is the Lightning Returns, guys. Like we are to be pumped for that. That's like Solid Snake coming back. That's like Hitler returning from the dead. It's that scale of magnitude. If they'd have called it Hitler Returns, Final Fantasy XIII. Like, that's the level of gravitas that we're supposed to attach to this.
I would play that. I would play Hitler Returns Final Fantasy 13.
So
Yeah, I'm
I.
surprised they haven't done that yet.
Hitler was at least emotional and emphatic. He could deliver his lines with energy.
You are saying that Hitler is a better character, like a more interesting video game character than Lightning.
He's a protagonist I'd root for before Lightning. I'm not saying I agree. I'm not saying I agree with what Hitler did. Just the way he did it.
At least he kind of grabbed the audience. You're saying
He grabbed the audience. He was confident. He had get up and go. Hitler was full of beans.
and Lightning is kind of leaden.
I should do a blatantly better article why Hitler is
No,
better
you shouldn't.
than
That would be interesting. Square Enix, who already has feelings about you, I guess. Do they?
I don't.
That's Konami.
Oh, yeah.
Konami are the ones that hate me. Square Enix are relatively ambivalent.
That's good.
Most publishers are. They don't know who I am.
That's good. Good and bad. Yeah.
Sony listen sometimes, which is actually a fun story. Holmes will like this, as director of communications. I've been building the brand and interacting with vice presidents and other corporate executives. Monday, Labor Day.
I saw.
Can you hear Hamza shuffling into activity all of a sudden? It's like, uh-oh.
That was I saw that tweet, Jim.
It was fucking great. Monday, I tweeted, it's Labor Day, so everyone, the whole family, should remember to shit into a big pile. I do this every day on Twitter. I have ideas that have to come out. So I tweeted that everyone in the family for Labor Day should shit into a big pile in the middle of the room and just grab a handful of the common stock and then shove it back up their butt. And then I got a reply from Shuhei Yoshida. I'm not sure if I got that pronunciation correct, but Yoshida-san, the president of Sony Worldwide Studios, who said, "Are you all right?" Which I love. I love that the president of Sony Worldwide Studios knowingly invites my cack and gibberish into his home. He's a lovely guy, actually. I've spoken to him before. He's a really good guy.
Did he unfollow you?
No, still follows me. He loves it. He loves it, the little tart. He said he did threaten. He said that if I do suck, he will unfollow me. And apparently he seems to enjoy it so far. Won't interview me, though. He said that Sony's afraid that I will entrap him and make him say something terrible.
Huh.
That's a quote.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's already entrapment right there.
But no, he's a cool guy. I do like that because we've talked about this before, like various professionals who end up listening to Podtoid and stuff. It's weird when you tweet and realise that an executive might be following you when you're talking about shit and piss and Jonathan's ass.
Yeah,
I met the guy who listened to the Podtoid episode in the boardroom that you always bring up at PAX.
How is he doing?
The guy from the big...
Oh, he's great. He's great. They're fine. You know, everything's cool. He wanted to meet you. Like, yeah.
Yeah.
He made a crack too, like how he thought he was in trouble about that whole situation, but then all the people that listened to him got laid off, so it's all good.
But he didn't get laid off.
No, he's fine.
The irony, probably the one man that deserves to be laid off. No offense, I'm sure he does fantastic work, but you listen to Podtoid, you're up there with people that deserve to never work. And I'm at the top of that list, I will say. Deserve. This shouldn't be my... Last night, before I went to bed, before I left my office, I had to remember to open a tab for something called Gum Job Granny, which is today's blow-up sex doll, which we'll be talking about later. Actually, it's one of two. I want to read Gum Job Granny, but I've got one for you, Jonathan, to read out.
What? How? Where? How can I read it?
I'll send you it.
In the email?
Yeah, I'll email it to you now.
Oh, okay.
I bet the listeners of Podtoid never could believe their luck that when they fired up today's episode, they would listen to me send an email to a man. This is happening live, guys. Lightning returns to send her emails.
What is the thing about? Yeah, okay. So Square Enix, let's talk about them some more.
I don't want to.
Come on,
No,
they're
no.
putting out a Tweenie sequel, maybe.
I want you guys to know that's not me.
No,
on the
it's
microphone.
totally Holmes.
That one.
It's me now?
Yep,
Yeah.
it's you.
What did I do this
I
time?
don't know, but it sounds like Fritzl's daughter trying to get out.
Your microphone is rubbing up against something, either your shirt or the cable running from it or your chin.
Oh yeah? How's it sound now?
Better.
Okay, I'll just keep it close. Square Enix, it really hit me this weekend that they're so different now than they used to be. Also, I beat The Last Story, which just felt like a Square Enix game, for better or worse. The kind that I grew up with, felt like one of those. And then, over the weekend, I see that they're making a third Final Fantasy XIII game, which just seemed like totally against what they used to be. Final Fantasy used to be about new world every game. Now they're just dragging that universe out to the end.
Like one that absolutely doesn't deserve it. Well, I mean, I say that, like, I wouldn't want them to revisit the other ones and milk them, so I guess it is good that it's happening to 13, a game that has nothing to milk.
Yeah, at least they're not destroying your nostalgic love of the other game.
Yeah. You can leave Final Fantasy IX alone, Squenix. Don't worry about it. I'll look after that one. You leave Final Fantasy IX with me, and you can do whatever the fuck you like with Final Fantasy 13.
George Lucas, that shit all you like to.
I've said that before. I did an article on Destructoid way back that said Square Enix is the LucasArts of video games.
Yeah,
They're very much.
LucasArts was a video game.
Well,
They still are.
Lucasfilm or whatever. I said they were George Lucas. Doesn't matter.
I think you said Final Fantasy was the Star Wars.
It was something like that, and it was, it likens Square Enix to George Lucas within it, where they prequeled the fuck out of Final Fantasy VII and demolished a lot of the mystique in that and
yeah, but I actually didn't mind that because Final Fantasy VII is, it's like 2 steps above gibberish in some places, and I might be like one of the 10 people on Earth who genuinely like Sturgis Cerberus as a game. I just think it's
not bad. Yeah, I thought that what they did with Final Fantasy VII was quite different than what they're doing with 13. 13 wasn't a huge commercial hit. It wasn't terrible, but it didn't do what previous Final Fantasies did for numbers. But they're just milking it out because they created the engine and they need
That's
to...
That's exactly what I was feeling like too. They're milking it out for this, at least for this generation, because they have all those assets. They already have all that stuff in place. Why create something new that would cost a lot more over just
especially when, year on year, they were doing, or every few years they were putting out another one of these grand epic things that was costing them a fortune. It was the only thing they were able to produce.
Right. So instead of taking some risks and doing some new IP like they used to cheaply and doing some interesting things, they're just milking the same IP and the same engine for years on end
and publishing Eidos, acquired properties, and they are branching out in different ways. But the Square Enix, in terms of making games, themselves, that's Dragon Quest and Final Fantasy.
Yeah, it's sad,
guys.
I am so glad they're taking on other game franchises now, like Tomb Raider, Deus Ex, and Sleeping Dogs. I'm really happy they picked that up because I've been playing shit out of that game. I love it.
And if they let those groups do their thing, do the thing they do well, and, just sort of keep their hands out of it as much as possible, I think that can be really, really successful for them as a broad strategy. They can focus on their Final Fantasy stuff, the stuff that they do really well, and, they're no longer really experimental themselves in terms of development, it doesn't seem. They, that element has bled out, then they're going to be focused on the, RPG genre. And that's
Publishing
fine.
yeah.
And then they can publish all of this other, broad, interesting stuff, the other franchises that I think it's a good strategy. I'm really positive on where Square Enix as a company is going.
Right.
I think
but
you're
as a
all
developer,
forgetting one important thing.
what's
They are
that?
Square Enix.
Lightning Returns, guys. Nothing else matters. Square's okay. They've got lightning in the bank. Literal lightning in a bottle, guys.
They should take that and
Doesn't
run
just
with it.
strike twice, strikes 3 times.
That's a lot of times.
Strikes everything apart from an emotional chord with me.
Oh. And
That
nothing
joke was
about
so good, I tweeted it the other day and I'm reusing it now.
I'm glad you did.
Damn right, I'm
missed it.
Square Enixing this shit.
nothing about Versus 13 yet, though, right?
What? They don't
Did
know what that is. They don't know what that is. You bring it up to them and they're like, what the hell is that? We just announce these games, we don't make them. That's what Square Enix does. Like, Square Enix loves announcing games and doesn't like making them, I've decided. Like, they just coming up with weird, fake Latin names and just arranging them in random orders. And then that's a game. Sorry.
No, I'm sorry. Well, you just reminded me. They announced that new engine at E3. What was it called? I don't want to say Final Fantasy engine.
Pringle Fabula Fantastico engine.
Oh, yeah.
Well, I mean, that just goes to show that, I mean, that's obviously next gen right there, and this is like the last hurrah for Square as far as this current gen goes with Final Fantasy 13-3.
Yeah.
Or whatever.
Worrying about engines and graphics. I want them to get back to doing things with narratives. Like one of my main problems with Final Fantasy 13 was they sacrificed everything for the visuals. It was an art department just masturbating. And there was nothing else. Like, I don't care how pretty it looks when there's no substance underneath. And I found Final Fantasy 13 emotionally dead. I couldn't enjoy the visuals because I didn't care about the world, the characters, the story, and the stupid made-up words.
Speaking of narratives, not to cut you off, Jim, but real time, right now, hot news. Ace Attorney 5. Oh, my dog's excited about it. Did you hear my dog just now?
Oh, yeah.
Yes.
She sucks. You suck.
Hey, you should just throw him out the window.
No, I can't. She's nice enough, but she's all bent out of shape about something. Anyway, yeah, Ace Attorney 5 is going to happen on 3DS, and it's going to be about Phoenix Wright again.
Cool.
Pretty neat.
I've only played the first one so far.
Third one's the best.
You can play all of them now that they're on iOS.
True.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, pretty cheap. The third one has an amazing characterization to the point where I just think about it a good amount. Dahlia Hawthorne, amazing character, so good. Best depiction of a sociopath in video games that I can think of. Check it out, guys.
Was that a segue to something? What?
No, that was the hot news. That's just hot off the presses right now, Hamza. I'd write a news post about it if I weren't doing this podcast right now. Ace Attorney 5. It's really coming out. 3DS. Phoenix Wright.
Oh, guys.
Come on, guys.
Come on.
Come on, it's exciting.
For fuck's sake.
Are you excited?
Oh.
I'm just trying to keep my dog from growling,
God.
too. I think I've quieted her down.
So, Jonathan.
Yes, Jim. Yes.
Oh, God, Jonathan.
Mm-hmm.
I try not to worry. I try not to worry. I try not to have a stressful life. I mentioned it earlier, and I tried to put it at the back of my mind to talk about the things we love to talk about on Podtoid, which is video games.
Yes.
I can't put it off any longer.
What, talking about video games?
It's the year 2012.
Oh, you were talking about this before. Yeah, it is.
Oh, God, I try not to remember. But it is the end of the world.
It's not going to be it's already... The Mayan calendar ended like months ago, but everything's fine. We're already in September. It's almost the end of the year.
Jonathan.
It's been a little warm.
That's what they said when they killed people. in history times.
Right, back in the days.
They always say, it's not going to happen to me. That's what they said at Pompeii.
Mm.
No, it's not going to happen to me. That volcano's going to not do anything forever, and we will keep getting into hilarious shenanigans with our togas. Like,
There's a song about that.
the door, and then
Yeah.
the toga falls off, and they're like, oh, this and whatnot, oh, like that. Everything I know about Pompeii, I know from bawdy 60s and 70s TV comedies in Britain.
Like Benny Hill?
Like Up Pompeii.
That's a show?
What's a show? Up Pompeii. It was like set in the latter years of Pompeii with Frank
should watch
Out.
that.
Would be all like, something about dildos. Oh. He'd look at the audience and go, "Oh, shut up! Stop thinking about cocks." Oh. And I imagine that's what the real Pompeii was like.
Sounds pretty good.
But that's not going to be the life for us. I want to get us, because I care about you, and Hamza and Conrad, I care about our futures. Because I still want us to do Podtoid in the end of the world. Even if everyone's dead.
How do you propose this scenario?
Oh, wow. It's not the end of the world yet. But that doesn't mean we can't be post-apocalyptic bandit raiders now.
Oh.
You sound disappointed.
We can't be post-apocalyptic bandit raiders now, because that's just being a thief.
We haven't got,
No, it's more like we're pre-post-apocalyptic
exactly.
bandit raiders.
It's terminology. But if we're post-apocalyptic bandit raiders now, when the world ends, we will have that market cornered.
You mean just knowing how to do it, or just having the stuff already?
Jonathan, do you have a car?
Yes.
Brilliant. There's a good start. We need 2 more cars. We're raiders. We can just nick them. We're going to need to take your car apart, Jonathan.
Oh, why?
In the end of the world, everything's salvaged. We can't just roll around in a nice new car. So we will take 3 cars apart and bolt them all together so that we have a nice, shattered, bedraggled, falling apart, rusty, we'll have to paint it orange to get it all rusty, car, which we will hang off and scream and whoop, and wear, like, furs and feathers and broken football helmets.
That sounds like Mad Max Beyond Thunderdome.
I will be humongous. I will walk around in just furry loincloth and a mask, and just, like, you know, we'll roll up into Best Buy and I'll just shout at everyone, "Just walk away!"
I actually like Blaster
Your extra
Master.
Blu-rays to us, and we will spare your lives. Just walk away. And
I'd be intimidated by you.
you'll be intimidated. If I was the Lord Humongous, you would leave me all the Dexter Blu-rays, which we will then sell on for fuel and food and bottled drinking water. And that's how we're going to live our lives now. Say goodbye to your homes. We will ride around in a car made out of 3 cars, with me bellowing, "Just walk away!" Riding around, robbing people, setting up camps, and eating cans that we find on the floor and break on rocks.
Is there food in the cans?
Well, that's what we got to find out.
So we eat the can to find out if there's food in the can?
Yep.
I don't want to do that at all. I'd rather just have a comfortable life until the apocalypse happens, and then
It's you to have a frisbee with razor blades duct taped to it, which you will throw at people.
I don't want to throw. No. I mean, maybe I would be like a Tina Turner type character and just oversee a city of interesting people. Do you remember her, Beyond Thunderdome? People don't like Beyond Thunderdome. I think it's got some good stuff in there.
How about I fuck you?
No.
I like where you're going with the Tina Turner idea.
Right, she is attractive.
You dress up like Tina Turner, and then I just have sex with you.
I do like We Don't Need Another Hero. So if instead of having sex with me, we just sang that. Do you know that song?
No.
It's the Beyond the Thunderdome theme song.
I haven't seen Beyond Thunderdome in years.
It's not that bad. I mean, it is, but it's fun to watch. It's got some good. It's got a small man on top of a large man, And he's like, Master Blaster don't want no cheese. You remember that stuff?
I remember Master Blaster.
He's good. He's good.
I remember my Master Blaster, Jonathan Holmes.
I don't want to have sex with you.
Oh.
Don't want to do it. Nothing personal. It's not that I don't think you're a great guy.
I'm sad now.
I don't want to have sex with a lot of
Does
people.
that give you an erection that I am sad?
It's not coming.
Yeah, there's many people I don't want to have sex with. It's a good company you're in. Trust me.
I still think we should be post-apocalyptic bandit raiders. Riding around in a broken car.
A lot of people do. The post-apocalyptic scenario is very exciting to people. They really wish...
It's so popular.
Yeah. Society would end and you can just do as you please. No rules. They love it.
That's because I need you guys, because you are more physically fit than me. My only hope of survival in a post-apocalyptic world is to convince better people than me that I am somehow valuable.
Oh, you're very valuable. You're the famous one in the group.
And then I will become some sort of baron, some sort of robber baron who owns things that other people want. It's like the penguin thing. It's like the penguin can't do anything, but he's convinced stronger people than him that he is better than them, so they don't pick on him. Any one of the penguin's thugs could kick the shit out of him.
He's got pretty good umbrellas, though.
I need umbrellas.
A lot of Batman's villains are not physically strong or capable of fighting very well. Though the Joker recently has gotten like kind of tough. I think that's a little weird. But yeah, the Penguin, Two-Face isn't particularly good at boxing or anything. He's just a lawyer with a melted face. Mad Hatter, what's he gonna do? Just do some weird rhymes and dance around a bit. They're not tough guys, but they're interesting guys. That makes them fun to read about. Stating the obvious again. Oh, so boring. Sorry, guys. What do you want to do now, Jim? You sex dolls and then questions?
Yeah.
What do you want to do?
Let's just tick the boxes.
Yeah, you want to tick them?
Yeah, I'm tired today.
I know. It's
I'm
okay.
really groggy too.
Yeah.
Hey, you guys had a rockin'
Conrad
weekend.
and I have the excuse of just having PAX kick her ass. I don't know about you, Jim. What are you doing?
Don't sleep well.
Why don't you sleep well?
Because you're rubbish.
I'm tired too. And I wasn't at PAX. I don't know if I have an excuse. It's been...
This morning I woke up and I was really energetic and I was, just enthusiastic. And now, it's mid-afternoon. I'm on my 8th cup of coffee, and I'm starting to wear down a little bit.
Yeah, makes sense. Yeah, it's that time of day. Yeah, it was a rough weekend. I tried doing Teenage Pokemon finally. I did some recording for that. Have I told you guys about that? Hamza and Conrad? I think Jim knows about it.
No, that I know about it.
I don't know.
It's a cartoon project I've been trying to... It's the only idea I've ever had that I think might be popular, like as a premise, actually is marketable. So that's made the pressure...
Oh, okay, so don't
Kill it with fire. Kill it with fire.
Don't tell us over Podtoid where someone else could just take it.
Oh, I copywrote it by announcing it was my idea like last year sometime with Max and Tara and stuff.
Because that'll work.
It does. Then the lawyer says he did it, and then the other guy's like, oh, and then I get all the money. So it'll be fine. Don't worry about that.
There'll be more legal advice from Jonathan Holmes, attorney at law, next week.
Anywho, that thing might actually happen, but I was...
Jonathan?
Yes, Jim.
Right, because you are a lawyer,
Yeah?
I've got a legal question for you. You know public indecency laws? Jonathan?
Yes, I've heard of them, yes.
Yeah. You know how it is like publicly indecent to unzip your pant line and just walk around town with your cock hanging out?
Not in Portland.
Is it not?
Totally fine.
Or San Francisco.
Awesome.
As long as it's not for an expressly sexual purpose.
You can just have your...
Yeah.
I've got to move to Portland.
Well, that's a real
Hey, you can come to
gray area,
San Francisco too, man. You can come to the Castro Gym. You can see all these old naked dudes just walking around.
Who's to say what's expressly
explicitly? What was it? Sexual?
You
What
have,
kind of
you have
sexual?
an erection. Are you rocking a rock hard cock right now while you're walking down the street? Then maybe you ought to cover that up.
But the cop would have to find you with hard erection
Yeah.
as
Can-
opposed to soft one.
Can they wank you off a bit, or is that entrapment?
Yeah, I think that would be a trap.
You'd have to argue that the cop wanked me off, Your Honor. Just a little bit to get it hard. Because the question I was going to ask, the rest of us who don't live in the more civilized, progressive areas of the world, we can't walk around town with just our, filthy tackle just hanging out. But I was wondering, if you owned a restaurant called Cock Out Charlie's, and the waiters had their cocks hanging out, is that public indecency? If you know what you're going to get when you go there.
No, but it may be in violation of food code.
True. I don't think strippers are allowed to get too close to your chicken sandwich, or else.
In a place like that, it's actually a sandwich. You'll never get a proper sandwich in a strip club.
Wait, you guys have never been to a strip club in San Francisco? They got buffets in our strip clubs.
Really?
Yeah.
Huh. But do the strippers get close to the buffet?
You go for lunch and have a buffet and watch a girl dance.
I don't want to think about where they keep the popcorn chicken.
Yeah, how far are their vaginas from your chicken? Pretty far.
I don't know. I haven't gone to one yet.
Well, we should figure that out.
Yeah.
Road trip.
Yeah. So, speaking of those boxes, boy, a lot of people asked questions already. Man, but you want to do sex doll reading?
Yeah. To be honest, I thought the post-apocalyptic thing would carry us more than it did. That fell flat on its fucking ass.
I think I made that fail somehow. Sorry about that.
It was a fantastic idea when I was discussing it with friends this weekend, but it doesn't always work. It doesn't always work, Jonathan. I tell you what.
Man. Thank you for the sex dolls, though.
I tell you what always does work, though. I forget who sent me this, but this is Gumjob Granny.
Oh.
I'll read this one out. You can do Jessica. Did you get Jessica, Jonathan?
Yeah.
Yeah.
You want me to read that?
I would love you to read that, because it's disturbing and upsetting.
Yeah.
So this is Gumjob Granny, the toothless wonder, Granny Love Doll. On the box it says 3 granny love holes. They don't even try with this one, no pun. It's just 3 granny love holes. And they advertise comes with her own false teeth.
What?
Oh.
This one comes with its own set of false teeth. Upsettingly, they have a picture of a very old lady on the cover. She looks like someone who would be selling trinkets at a market in a movie. Like the kind of woman that would sell you a mogwai or something. So she looks like a mysterious old woman lifting up her skirt, and they've starred out her furry badger.
Oh, so she's not wearing clothes?
She's just wearing a skirt that she's pulled up. Her pancake flappers are hanging out.
Her penis?
Her breasts.
Oh, okay.
Her bosoms. Now, the upsetting thing is they've used pictures of dentures to cover the nipples. So she looks like an old naked woman with teeth growing on her boobs.
Oh my god.
It's disgusting. If you look up Gumjob Granny, you'll see it. They look like the plant from Little Shop of Horrors, just in tit form. So this is Gumjob Granny anyway. It was $40. It's been reduced to $28.35. So jump on this while you can.
It's over at Sex Toys.
Sextoys247.com.
That is amazing.
Details. The Gumjob Granny blow-up doll is proof that things just get better with age. Granny comes with her own removable dentures, but for the best totally toothless experience, make sure she takes her dentures out first. Granny comes with 3 love holes, vaginal, anal, and oral. She really knows her stuff and how to please you. For the most realistic granny experience, try only inflating her about halfway.
Wow.
You'll have a great time with the toothless wonder, or give her as a fun gift. She'd make a fun bachelor's party present, or a great date for an over-the-hill birthday party. A truly unique love doll, something for the guy who has everything. Except Granny, of course!
And dignity.
And dignity. If you ever did want to have sex with an elderly relative, then Gumjob Granny is for you.
Not just an elderly person, elderly relative.
Yeah, it's Granny. It's your grandmother.
Oh, okay.
And
Yeah.
the way it says "over the hill," like it's very stylized, like a logo. Like this might be part of a series.
It feels like it. I mean, just looking at it, it looks like something you'd get at a Spencer's Gifts or something. Like it's a gag gift item as opposed to being a serious love doll.
I mean, though they do say you could have it as a fun gift, but they want you to be sure that if you do plan to fuck this, you can.
Right.
You know, she's got the love holes. She's got the removable dentures. You can try only inflating her about halfway. This is for the guy who has everything. Except a grandmother that wants to fuck them.
And let me just thank you for the Google image search I had to confront to find that image.
Gumjob Granny.
Hey, Jonathan.
Yeah. Totally deflated. Yeah?
I bet you are feeling a bit like Gumjob Granny right now.
I am indeed. Ugh, that's bad because she's just...
Yeah. Do you have 3 granny love holes?
I do, I guess. I've got 3 How many holes do I have? I've got 2. 2.5.
We'll have to make the other one.
Holes, I mean, we've all got holes, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, just making conversation about
Technically
holes.
7.
Whoa, quick math, Hamza.
They got a Barack Obama blow-up doll.
Oh.
It's also really easy to make a few more. I mean, it's not...
Yeah.
Holes?
Yeah.
Easy?
Yeah, dude.
Don't you have to cut?
Just grab a fucking knife.
Oh.
Yeah, this isn't complicated. Aim for a soft spot.
Yeah, fucking science.
I'm going to read the sex doll that Jim emailed me, and then we'll do questions. So many questions.
No, I don't know if this is supposed to be anyone. It says it's the Superstar series, but it seems more like this is a representative of a type of woman. It's one of those ones, like with the Britney one, there's something malicious in the way this is done.
Yeah, I hate it.
Yeah, that's why I thought you'd love it.
It's called the Jessica Love Doll. $27.08 it costs. Here are the details. Jessica is young, dumb, and ready for you to pump her full of cum. Make this up and Rising Star sing. Make this up and Rising Star sing at the top of her lungs long into the night as you literally rock her world inside out.
Wait, is she a redhead?
No.
I think it's Jessica Simpson. It might be.
Maybe. But there's already 2 of those, I think.
Yeah, there's no box art for this one.
3 entrance holes provide you with an erotic experience however you see fit. Tired of watching that blonde bombshell walk on by without giving you a first or second notice? Not anymore. Jessica's there for you whenever you want her. Oh, I hate it. She'll never turn you away or walk on by. Don't worry about having a conversation with her. There won't be any need for that. The only thing you have to make her say is, It literally says that. The only thing you have to make her say is, The one thing you never hear is this blonde beauty say is no. Wow. Mm-hmm. Use our toy cleaning product for fast cleanup and simply deflate her and put her away until the next time you're ready to use her. It's the worst thing.
This was a particularly vile one.
Yeah. This is the worst.
The psychology of this one. Like, there no need for, like, the way it talks about having to engage intellectually with a woman. Just don't worry about that. There's no need for any of that.
It's the worst.
Yeah.
There are a couple of things I would like to point out about it. First is the expression up and rising. Now, you see, they could have gone for the cheap easy up and coming, ejaculation reference. But they didn't. They didn't. They classed it up. It's misdirection. And so I can appreciate that to a certain extent.
That just confused me. I thought I was reading it wrong.
I think the
Mix
problem
up and Rising Star.
the
Yeah.
problem is they already used cum a lot less elegantly in the first sentence when they just said pump her full of cum.
Yeah.
To
they had
then
just
go
said,
on to up and coming is a level of gauche that I think is below even these prose writers.
And the other thing is the only thing you have to make her say is "oh," which is kind of curious because I think that the only thing that she could, the only way she could make her make is some sort of like odd squeaking, like two balloons rubbing together. Like, what does sex with an inflatable love doll sound like? The closest analog I have is from when a friend of mine, no, may he rest in peace. Actually, for his 21st birthday, we got him a 12-inch black dildo and an inflatable sheep.
Whoa.
And this was, a long running joke between us, and we did test it. And let me tell you, that is some squeaky shit.
The dildo and the sheep? Or
Yeah, right. I can't imagine it's going to go a whole lot better when you've got like thighs pressing up against
yeah. Oh,
rubber and
chafy.
know,
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
And then here's the worst part. Like, okay, just visualize this for a second, right? You're really going to town on the thing, and your balls slap up against it. It's just this hollow sound, like tapping on a balloon, right? Right? You with me?
Yeah. Yeah. It's sad. It's a sad day for us.
Yeah, we feel bad.
Yeah.
It's okay. Let's bring the energy up.
The one thing you'll never hear this blonde beauty say is no.
No, we're bringing the
That's
energy up.
that's a
Jen.
troublesome
So
sentence.
awful.
It also implies that she's capable of full speech. Because it says
Yeah.
the one thing you will never hear is no, implying you will hear everything else.
Right.
Or,
but she,
or
she
even
can't.
anything else.
Yeah, which makes me think she is some sort of Pinocchio figure. Like a sex doll brought to life by a kindly old Italian, forced to have sex with men who, to be honest, are undergraduate rapists, and deflated and then inflated for no other purpose than to satisfy this hideous, probably Limburger cheese-looking man.
Willem Dafoe is Japimpo.
He would be the guy who would create the sex doll talking toy. I almost talked good. Me. Hey, guys. Let's bring the energy up, guys.
What?
Blah, 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 blah. Come on. Whee! Everybody likes it.
God.
Fun, 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 fun. Here's a question. You ready?
Yeah.
Tron Kim asks, is there any particular reason why you guys aren't into fighting games? What don't you guys like about fighting games? How do you feel when you play those?
Overwhelmed, typically.
Yeah.
It requires a lot of practice and a lot of personal investment that I don't anticipate my reflexes. I'm, over 30 now. They're not getting any better. I have no real expectation of being competitive at it, and while I could probably play enough to earn a level of competence, I would only really enjoy doing that on a couch next to someone else, and that's never going to happen.
Right. So if you had people who you liked hanging out with anyway, and they're like, "Hey, can I come over and bring over Persona 4 Arena, and we'll just screw around with the..."
I would play it with them. That's fine.
Right.
Whatever. But I'm not interested in playing them for my sake.
Right. Got it. And Hamza, you like fighting games a little bit, right?
To a degree, as stupid as this sounds with fighting games, I like the story elements. I mean, it's stupid because usually they have no they don't make sense or they're not cohesive or anything like that. But
it's
also
like
art design
too sometimes, right?
There's what?
It's like a little puzzle sometimes too, right? Because you're only getting little snippets here and there of what random narrative thread they've decided to weave through one of these games.
Yeah.
Sure. Yeah, the characters are something I think people overlook in terms of fighting games. People will play a fighting game just because they love the characters and then figure out the rest later. That's not the really vocal crowd you hear on the internet, but there's a lot of people, the millions of people who buy Street Fighter, a lot of them buy it just because they love Chun-Li as a character, and
I
Wanna
do. I
just-
do also appreciate the artwork, the character designs, and all that. But I just don't have. I'm not interested in learning the technical aspect of where the hitboxes are, or what character works best against a certain other character. Like I do
Sure.
appreciate watching these pro players play. Like I will watch Evo on Twitch TV. I will watch these matches go down and like actually get floored for some of these fighters who like do amazing jobs at the games. But as far as myself getting into them, no, I don't see that ever happening. At least with fighting games.
Yeah. But you're
I
pretty
also
competitive with first-person shooters, though, Hamza.
Yeah, exactly. I am. I pretty am.
Right. Right,
Yeah, I mean,
right.
people just have different skills. I'm very much into first-person shooters like Hamza. I play most games, but if it's real-time strategy, I struggle with because I don't have the ability of forethought that you need for that kind of stuff. I'm not very much of a forward planner, and there's a certain skill set that some people can fire a bow and arrow. I can't do that. I can't do fighting games either. And I would love to be able to play them and everything. I see people. I've said before. I see people getting excited about the new Street Fighter, the new Tekken, what have you. And it's like I'm a man with no feet watching people buying shoes and being
Yeah.
really excited about buying those shoes. It's something I could never really.
That's not me. Is it?
It's one
no, that
of
was
you
Hamza.
guys.
I can actually tell.
Sorry.
You're both on watch.
I'm completely motionless right now.
Anyway, yeah, it's just a skill set that I don't have, and wish I did, but I can't
I think
do it.
most people feel that way. They've made a comeback, and now they're kind of on the way down again. Sales of most recent Capcom fighting games are down from what they were
I
because
think
it
it has something
is.
to do with just Street Fighter in general. That's the fucking main fighting game there is, right? And
Yeah,
then there hasn't been one in a while, aside from a bunch of re-releases or collector's editions or whatever, what have you.
well,
And
they
like,
expected Ultimate Marvel vs. Capcom 3 to be bigger. It was a cheap game with a bunch of new content, but people were just kind of burnt out already. They expected Street Fighter Cross Tekken to be a lot bigger because those are the two biggest fighting game series ever, and it did all right. But yeah, people are burning out again because you get the idea. Like the mechanics are pretty much the same. There's a bunch of new ideas that are too minor to really wow people who aren't diehards into it. And it takes a very unique kind of person to want to master those particular mechanics year
I
after year.
I am going to be interested in seeing how well the Tekken Tag and Dead or Alive 5 do.
Yeah, I'm not
But
expecting.
at the same time though, Persona 4 did really well for what it is.
Oh, sure, yeah. But that's
But not in
pretty
comparison to say
feeling.
Street Fighter, I'm sure.
Yeah. It's those types of fighters seem to be on the way up. I don't know how far up they're going to get, but they're rising. Whereas the Capcom ones, they need to take a break, I think, again.
I'll play a new Primal Rage.
Yeah, you'd play that.
I used to. They're the only two fighting games I ever really played was Primal Rage and Eternal Champions.
Oh yeah,
I'll do them again.
yeah. Mortal Kombat's doing really well too. We'll see how that new Justice League. Mortal
Oh yeah,
Kombat
Injustice.
does. Yeah, we'll see how that goes. Not expecting big sales. Not as big as Mortal Kombat 9 anyway. Another question. I don't know. You guys might care about this. La Mulana, worth it on WiiWare after all this time? Or a wasted effort? This is from Patrick McNulty.
I think you're the only one who could answer that.
Oh, I don't know.
Oh, I have been playing the hell out of La Mulana, actually.
Yeah, Conrad's been playing it on PC.
Yeah, I have, and I really like the new PC version of La Mulana that released, and you can buy directly from there. So Playism, I think it is, selling it.
That's right.
And I really like that version. I don't think I would enjoy it as much on Wii, simply because I, have that window open, and then I have Photoshop open with a map that I'm building, and, just for all of the note-taking and resource management and so forth that, keeps me from dying in the game, because I'm also trying not to die, which is a thing.
Yeah.
So... yeah, I just prefer it on PC. It works perfectly with my controller on PC, and I think it would be kind of awkward to play it without or I think it would kind of awkward to play it without like a classic controller Pro or something like that, where it has a little easier access to all the buttons.
Sure. Yeah, that makes sense.
So I would probably encourage getting the PC version if that's an option for you. There's really not a whole lot of resource requirement, and it's really good on that platform already.
Yeah, people should definitely get it. I think it makes sense to put it on WiiWare still because that's a very different audience.
Get it everywhere you can.
Sure. So if you just don't like playing video games on your PC, yeah, get it on WiiWare. It's good. The PC version has additional content that they couldn't put on WiiWare because of Nintendo. Actually, my understanding is Nintendo wouldn't let them sell the DLC for it, which is like an additional newly designed hell level or something like that. So that's kind of a bummer. But other than that, it's for what I've been told, the same game on WiiWare, and it was originally on WiiWare, and then they took the WiiWare version and ported it to PC. So if it weren't for the WiiWare version, the PC version wouldn't have ever happened. So yeah, I'm gonna buy it. I'll reward them for sticking it through and putting it out. Hope it's not buggy. Rumor has it that Nicholas didn't put it out because they thought it was too buggy. So we'll see if they fix that stuff. Fun. Thanks, guys. Thanks for doing that question. Poor Jim and Holmes, though. Oh, my dog is... I'm bleeding now. Oh,
Why
dog.
are you bleeding?
It's a dog that makes you bleed.
Well,
That's
put it on the
That
ground.
dog is a piece of shit.
Put
She's
it
a
on the
great
ground.
dog. She gets off the ground.
Are you gonna make the dog bleed?
No, I have to finish this podcast.
It's time.
Fair's fair.
It's time to get that cycle of revenge cycling.
Like the dog, Holmes. Like the
Can't
dog.
do it. Can't do it, guys. I gotta do the podcast. Otherwise, it'd be
Chew
biting
on
a
its
dog.
leg.
Annihilate that dog.
Trick your dog.
Chances of success.
Bastard. Bastard Cock wants to know if there's any chance of us doing more movie commentaries. That was a good fake dog sound. People really wants it, dudes.
What do they want? People were laughing at the man's name.
Oh, Bastard Cock.
What did Bastard Cock want to know?
He wants us to do movie commentary again. I've never done those, so I can't
I'd
speak
love
to
to do
it.
that.
Maybe we should do it. We just need to get organized and take extra time.
That was the
more extra
problem.
time.
Yeah, it needs organization and time.
Yeah,
That's the one thing standing in our way here.
that's pretty hard. Maybe someday, though.
I tell you what, no promises, but we will take it under serious consideration.
Yeah, we'll try. Evan Fortner, who on Twitter is @7EV77. He's a great guy. He asked if you're going to the Escapist Expo, Jim. Because if so, he's looking forward to seeing you. You going to the Escapist Expo, Jim?
Yeah, it's not too far from where I am, so it was a relatively stress-free trip. Yeah, I'll be going there.
Awesome.
I guess I should plug it, but I don't know how.
That's why.
I'll do it next week. It's mid-September. It's gonna be pretty cool, I guess. I'll be on some panels with Yahtzee and Movie Bob and those guys. That'll be fun.
That's fun. They seem like neat guys. I met Bob once. Seem nice. Yeah. Let's do a couple more. We're almost done. D-Pad Joe asks, what do you guys think the Wii U price point in terms of the current economic situation? Will people see it as a Wii add-on? It's kind of two separate questions. That's in response to the rumor that came out today that Jim posted about, that the Wii U will come in 3 SKUs, 250, 300, and 350, and they don't know what will be bundled with those, but you can assume that one will come with a game, and one might come with a hard drive in a game, or a hard drive in a game, and Wii Remote and Nunchuck, because a lot of games still use those. So yeah, there'll be different versions of it. I think it's pretty good. I think it was. They probably would have done better with 200, 250, and 300. But at this price point, if the Wii U does turn out to be a big success, and people do end up wanting to pay $350 for it like they did with the Wii, now Nintendo can sell it for $350 while still offering it for $250 to people who didn't want to pay that. Because when the Wii came out, Nintendo was pissed that it sold out and then people were selling it on eBay for $350, $400. That's money they could have been making per console. So to me, it makes sense that they're anticipating that and trying to grab some of that money. That said, I don't think the Wii U is going to be that popular compared to how the Wii was. There's just everyone I talk to about it is really, they either don't care or they love the Wii as it is and don't care to upgrade. Either you loved the Wii and you don't want another one, or you didn't like the Wii and you don't trust a second one. So as we get closer to launch, I'm less and less optimistic that it's going to be all that popular.
Yeah, I'm still super interested in seeing what it does, because there's no way to call it. I don't think you can call whether it will be successful or not. I think the one thing I'd be confident in saying is I don't imagine it will be another Wii.
Right.
It won't be another absolute sold out everywhere on eBay for double the price, Fox News, Oprah Winfrey talking about it kind of success.
Yeah.
But whether it will perform adequately or not, that's a very interesting story.
Yeah, adequately. I'm pretty confident of that, because Nintendo's first-party stuff is still. I mean, if New Super Mario Bros. Wii hadn't sold 15 million units and Mario Kart Wii hadn't sold like something ridiculous, like 27 million, then I'd be more pessimistic. But people are still in love with those brands, so they'll sell at least.
I expect there will be shortages of the console at launch, so that we can report that there are shortages of the console at launch.
Sure.
Oh, they may deliberately
exceeded their
understand.
initial production, and I think they may be able to drum some hype that way, with the national press who maybe aren't paying that close attention, saying, "Oh, holy shit, look at this! Nintendo's done it again. The Wii is impossible to find," and then off to the races we go. I mean,
Sure.
Has anyone noticed how ugly that console is?
The Wii, as opposed to the controller, the actual physical console.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's just like a melted Wii. It's just like a dumb
Like two
Wii.
Wii's, like, duct taped together.
You bastard. Yeah, it doesn't look too good, but people aren't looking at that
Well,
at all.
yeah, I mean, Nintendo's been really good about making the focus on the Wii U controller itself.
Yeah.
Which,
But
I mean,
they sort of have. Yeah.
Well, no, I was just going to say that's, different from everyone else always having the console front and center.
Yeah, it's true. But I am really disappointed that Nintendo hasn't been focusing on the fact that you can play console quality games on a handheld, essentially. They just aren't pushing that aspect at all. That's what I thought was going to sell the console. And I'm not sure if you can even do that with every game. They've backed off on that a lot from the initial reveal, where that was touted as a big feature. I'm not even sure if you can play Zombie U, for instance, just on the controller. Or
I don't think you can. No way. There's no way with that one.
That's not too good. I mean, that's the thing that's going to sell that console. Other than that, it's just a controller with a big screen on it that you may or may not use. Whereas if you can play every game on the controller, then you can free up the TV, which is what every family I talk to, they say, I don't want to have a video game console because I want to watch TV and I don't want my husband playing it. Blah, blah. Whereas the Wii U would sell that to people who don't want a console for that reason.
I honestly don't see that as being a massive selling point, though. I really don't see this whole idea of, you can play it on the screen while the wife watches Sex and the City. I don't know, it feels like it's playing to a very dated idea.
I don't know. We are in different worlds, maybe, because in my world, that's a huge idea. When people have kids and the kids want to watch this and parents want to watch something else. And
the trouble is, if my kid wants to watch something else here, I say, fuck off.
Right, I mean...
Well, it's that, and I also
question.
feel like most households have at least two TVs nowadays.
I mean, it plays to this idea that, we still watch Howdy Doody on a 6-inch screen and all this kind of stuff. It seems like an old-fashioned idea, which, an old-fashioned problem that they've now solved with brand new technology. It seems very anachronistic to me. I could totally be wrong. I don't ever want to... I think anybody would be wise to never say something will definitely happen with a new console. But that's where my mind is telling me to go right now. Is I don't see that whole thing being a big selling point, because I mean, the guys who are initially going to pick this up are big Nintendo fans who, to be honest, probably live alone.
But the audience they're going for, and the audience they got with the Wii, was people who said, I don't want a video game console. Oh, well, that one's different. I'll get that. And
But then, like you said, those very same people are happy with their Wii still.
Right. And when I
How
tell
many of
them,
those people still play the Wii?
Yeah.
a lot of them.
And do they play the Wii, or do they just play Wii Sports?
They play Just Dance. They love freaking Just Dance.
Right, well, they're not humans, so...
So you mean a group interactive togetherness game that involves a lot of movement, as opposed to something you would sit solitary on the couch and play on a small screen in your hands, while someone else who watches Sex and the City on the television.
Yeah, I mean, that's it. The guys who would be playing it on a handheld, who get into fights with their family members over TV, aren't the kind of people playing Just Dance, who are the kind of people you say Nintendo's going after.
Well, they already have them. So now they're going after another group, which is the group parents who won't buy a video game console for their kids because they say, I don't want them hogging the tea with it, which is a lot of people.
And I think that's a valid concern, but I think it's less of a concern here in the U.S. where there are just so many screens now. I mean, it's ridiculous how many screens can wind up in a house. I don't even want to tell you how many screens are in my house.
Well, we're different people. I mean, a lot of people...
Right, and I know that I'm an exception in that regard, but everywhere even 10 years ago, or, when I was living, or 15 years ago, every household I knew in where I lived had 2 screens somewhere in their house.
And that'll be interesting to see.
And most monitors now for PCs, they have HDMI out. I mean, I sometimes play my 360 on my computer monitor.
Right,
Yeah,
people have options that they didn't used to have, and this is another addressing of a problem which may or may not have been solved a long time ago.
Yeah.
90% of people I know, though, don't know what a HDMI out is. They'd be like, what do you mean? Computers? Something about a cord? I don't forget it. They just blank out completely when it comes to technology. And they don't even like TV, but their kids...
But then, I mean, if those people don't know what an HDMI out is, first they need to learn what fire is before they can learn what a Wii U is.
And the thing is, if they're going to buy something like this for the kids, trust me, the kid knows how to hook it up. It's color coded. It's not, it'll be fine. They'll buy
it for the kid, and then the kid will try to sell it and get a 360 because all their friends are playing Xbox Live.
But I mean,
everybody's happy.
The idea of playing on the little screen, I won't deny it's not interesting. I won't say it isn't, and I won't deny it's interesting, rather. And I won't say it's not useful. It could be useful. I like spending time with my family while also gaming. I find it's a very nice, I'll often have like the PS Vita or the 3DS or whatever in the main room while other people are doing things, and I enjoy gaming that way with people around.
I bring my family into my gaming.
Yeah, so it might be useful. I could enjoy. Maybe Alex is playing a game herself. KOTOR or the Walking Dead that she loves playing, or watching Dexter or what have you. And I could be playing something on the Wii U. That's definitely an interesting idea. It's a nice bonus. It's not something that makes me, want to rush out and buy it. That's not a selling point. It's a nice adding feature, but not a selling, driving point for me.
It's like a guarantee of 5 solid years of good third-party support,
Yeah.
And what about the games that launch too? I mean, aside from like the third-party re-releases of games that have been out for a while now, there's nothing specific to the Wii U that's really enticing me other than Rayman Legends, which we called our one of the top 10 games at PAX Prime this past weekend, plug. But that's the only game that looks absolutely gorgeous and amazing to me on the Wii U. There's the new Super Mario Bros. Game, another fucking soulless regurgitation of that fucking same engine.
Whoa!
I hate that series so much now. Zombie U it has potential, but it's not a selling point for me either. And I don't know what else is there.
I'm all about Pikmin 3, dog.
Right. There's that. I've never been a Pikmin fan, so but I mean that'll do it right there for a lot of people, I'm sure.
Yeah, they're going after a bunch of small cult audiences and Mario pretty much at the same time. There's the Rayman audience, which is not huge. Rayman Origins did not sell that well. Pikmin, that's like 2 million people maybe. Project P100, they're getting the diehard like Beautiful Joe fans, Platinum
That is
Games
such a
fans.
great point. There's these games that are just like diehard cult fans, but not the
Mhm.
mass appeal.
No, they don't have that yet, and it'll be interesting to see if they get it. They don't need it out the gate, because out the gate, people, just diehards, are going to buy it for the sake of buying it. You know, they'll sell 6 million units in a couple of months just because there are those people who need to buy the new console, no matter what it is, and then diehard Nintendo fans. But after that, first few months, they need to come out with something to keep the momentum going, or else it'll be like the 3DS was, which really slowed down after launch because there just weren't any games. So we'll see what
And
happens.
the original DS struggled in that way,
Oh, that's
Yeah.
true.
and the GameCube struggled a little bit in that way.
Never
And
stopped struggling. Oh, yeah.
So, I mean, historically, they have a habit of having a tough first year with their consoles, but Wii was an exception, and they've always managed to bounce back, particularly in the hardware or in the handheld space. So, I'm not concerned about its long-term prospects. I just don't know that there's anything in it for me right now.
Yeah. I hear you, dog. Well, that was a good long Wii U talk. I didn't think we were going to do that. It was fun. Thanks, guys. Talking about video games. You want to do any more questions, or are we all done? It's up to
Nah,
Jim. Jim's the boss.
I'm tired.
Oh,
Uh,
I wish I could just give you a cookie.
oh.
I would. I would give you a cookie.
Give me a cookie.
Absolutely, I would.
Yeah, let's
Don't
wrap
really.
this up. It's been a low energy one this week. I'm
Yes.
sorry for that.
I think people will still find some fun in there.
Maybe.
Do people listen to us for our energy?
I don't know.
It's like I want to feel. I don't know.
No, they
like
listen to us because they want to hear Jim talk about stapling us to different animals.
That comes from energy, which I haven't had. So there's
You
no-
came
no
up with me
staple
being
bar.
your cat and cutting off my arms and legs, and you had tons of great ideas, Jim.
Wow.
Okay,
Good job.
all right. So, have you ever read the book Amnesia Moon, Jim?
No, what's that?
No.
Okay, Amnesia Moon is a book by Jonathan Lethem. It's about a guy who lives in a post-apocalyptic wasteland. Okay, I'm trying to help you with your post-apocalyptic wasteland fantasy, because the thing about that one that made that story so interesting is most post-apocalyptic wastelands, it's pretty much, there's like 15 people maybe, and there's not a whole lot going on. And in this one, it turns out that the post-apocalyptic fantasy is literally someone's post-apocalyptic fantasy where they decided to become what you wanted to be, a warlord.
Ah.
And he's projecting that fantasy where he is a warlord over everyone else in his town because he's one of a limited quantity of people following a actual global catastrophe that have this ability to influence the minds of others. You should really read it. It's excellent.
And what's that called again?
Amnesia Moon.
Amnesia Moon. I'm going to check that out. Need something new to read.
I'm reading 1Q84. It's
What?
like a 1Q84. It's a 1,600-page epic from Murakami. I can't even remember who recommended it to me. I want to say it was Victoria on Podtoid, but Alistair and I were talking about it a little bit earlier, and he's like, yeah, I bought it, and I haven't even read a page yet. And I'm like 400 pages into this thing. Over in Japan, it was published in 3-4 books, but I bought it and wasn't, I didn't think to check how many pages it was. It just came highly recommended from somebody. I was like, okay, I'm going to buy that. Click. And then I, open it up on the tablet, page 1 of 1637. I'm like, oh God, what have I done? Oh, so I've slowly been working my way through it, but it's fascinating. It's an alternate timeline. This woman who is like an assassin who kills men who beat women for a wealthy dowager. People who get away with beating women. She accidentally somehow stumbles into an alternate timeline version of 1984 which is the same time that she's in, but something like 11 years earlier happened that changed the course of history, and it's fascinating. It's a really interesting little book, big book. But
Whoa,
anyway,
man.
I'm sorry. This didn't have to be
Intense.
book chat. It's just Alistair was telling me you should do a book podcast, and now I'm thinking about books.
Oh, yeah, look at that. Do it. Talk about
Yeah.
books.
I like
It's
books.
untapped audience. Tap it.
Do it, you butt mouth.
Yeah. Rawr.
Okay, let's wrap this up. It's really hot in this office. That's not fucking helped. That Isaac was a good thing in hindsight. Kept the place cool. That was annoying, Hurricane Isaac. I mean, good job I didn't actually fly out, because it was fucking vicious, and we had it mild compared to some places. But anyway, Jonathan, what are you doing this week that people could look at, for God's sake?
I don't know. I will do Stop Holmes. Let's do it. Conrad, you doing it?
Yeah, let's do it.
All right, Sunday, 1 p.m.
Is it Zach Gage this week?
It's Zach Gage this week, creator of Spellbinder. A Spellbinder? Spell Tower.
Spell Tower, yeah.
Yeah, oops. Sorry, Zach. It's a iOS
It's
game
pilot.
that actually got popular. It's a word game. It's pretty good. He's a game developer. He's done a lot of stuff. He's a neat
He's
guy.
done all sorts of stuff. His site's just filled with all sorts of little experiments and projects and toys. It's neat.
Yeah. He embraces the excitement of new idea and fun. And he also has a new tabletop game, I think, or board game out that he wants to talk about.
Oh, that's
He's
cool.
made one of those up, yeah. So that'll be fun. I'm excited to have him on the show. It's this Sunday, 1 p.m. Pacific Standard Time, 4 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. It's a live show on Twitch TV/Destructoid. Find it on Destructoid.com as well. And the podcast rerun, the audio-only version, you could say, is on iTunes. We just put a new one up. I think we're putting it up. The one with Sophie Holden from this past Sunday. It was an interesting show. She's an interesting person. You know, to meet someone like her every day. She's a woman with like a all of England accent. She's got like little bits of every part of England in her accent. And she she plainly states the facts about life, making video games. That's what I thought anyway. What do you think, Conrad?
Yeah, it was a good time. Yeah, that's out on iTunes now, and on Destructoid.com you can watch the full episode there. Yeah, I thought it was very interesting. She was just a charmer.
Yeah.
A lot of fun. A lot
Smart
of fun.
cookie, indeed.
Good
So
show.
that's what I'm doing. What are you guys doing? Conrad?
I got a couple of more things still from PAX that I'm dragging out of myself today because I want to make sure all that stuff's done. But there's a great preview of Herald, which is a very cool running game that you can read right now that you should check out, and Luthrousers, which is the new game from the guys at Vlambeer, who are totally awesome. That game's a lot of fun. You should check that preview out as well.
They're so excited about that game.
Oh, they
They've
should
been talking about
be.
it for
It's
so
cool.
long, and they're like, "Oh, we can't believe the dynamics." They're just their love of design, their pure
Yeah.
passion for design, and what they do with that passion is fantastic.
Indeed.
Those guys, great guys. I don't know, they might be jerks, but they make great games. They seem nice.
I don't know. Every time I've spent time with them, they've seemed like absolute delights.
Yeah, they have been. Sometimes you get fooled, though.
Just very
Rami.
cheerful. Man. Rami is really good at Johann Sebastian Joust.
I bet he is.
We played a lot of rounds of that at PAX, and I think there's going to be video of that coming up there. And man, I mean, he's tall and he's got reach, and you know, his arms are long, but he's not like spindly or anything. He's got body mass to him as well. He's just a big dude, and his center of gravity is so strongly honed. It's amazing. Kicks our ass.
You just
also.
reviewed a man's body.
Ability to play Johann Sebastian Joust, at least.
It was a body review. It was thorough. It was good.
I've been thinking about Rami's body a lot, I'm not going to lie.
Nothing wrong with that, dog.
Assessing weaknesses. I mean,
That's all. Just keeping it real. Hamza, what are you doing?
At the Destructoid PAX panel, we had announced that our Destructoid store is officially live. Expect to post on that tomorrow, Destructoid. But in the meantime, for you Podtoid listeners, head over to sharkrobot.com/destructoid, and you can see what we currently have available. We're teaming up with various artists to get these designs up there. So, if you're an artist, if you like to make merchandise, hit me up and we'll talk, because we are doing a rev share partnership with this store. So whatever we sell, you will also make money off of. Right now, we just have some video game spoof shirts. Like there's a Metal Gear Rex with a snake looking out at it and with a question mark over its head, or exclamation mark, whatever. We're gonna have some Destructoid specific stuff coming up soon, and I have a lot more designs on the horizon. But in the meantime, check it out. You can pre-order the designs that are available, and whatever gets the most pre-orders will actually become part of the store officially. So yeah,
you want to do a teenage Pokemon shirt? People like that. Pokemon.
Yeah, just talk to me.
No, I'm talking. You want to do it?
Later, after Podtoid.
Let's do it. Let's do it.
Well, I'm not saying let's do it.
Yeah,
Let's
have your business calls on your own time, please.
That's the way you can get them where you want them, you see. All right, I'm sorry, Jim. You're hot.
No,
What do you
I just
do
say
this
no. I just someone walked up to me. I don't know if they just recognized me from Destructoid or whatever, but I wasn't trying to work or anything. I was just trying to talk to a friend. She walks up to me and she's like, excuse me, would you like to play our indie game over here? I just looked at her. I'm like, I'm sorry, no. I didn't make up an excuse or anything. I just said no. I felt bad, but then I forgot about it.
They intrude and ask and get up on you. You just gotta let them know where it's at.
I can't do that. I would be there all day for that. That would be it. I would be at that game all day crying because I couldn't refuse.
Used to be me. That used to be me, but I've learned how to say no, and life is so much better now.
Yeah, that's good. You're in demand. That's the thing about you, Hamza. When you go to those events, people are all up on you. I've seen it. That's what happens to you.
Oh, well.
It's all this hair.
Anyway, we can get this wrapped up.
Chest hair. No, Jim, we gotta talk about my chest hair.
What? Oh, no, we could be here all day.
Sometimes I wonder how much hair I have. And you know how when people say they're gonna die, and they're gonna go up to whoever's at the gates or whatever the fuck the fiction is.
Yeah.
They want to ask them like random stuff about their life, and one thing I'm gonna ask them is how much hair did I ever have during my entire life, and then I'm gonna ask them how much it weighed, and then I'm gonna ask them how much I would have had to eat to get full if I was hungry.
And then you find out that you are actually in hell, and they make you eat it all.
Ooh. How many times would it span the earth if you put every hair you ever grew end to end?
Oh, that's a good one.
Would the planet Earth look like just one big nut?
Okay, wrap it up, Jim.
That'd be good. Yeah, you can check out everything we do at Destructoid.com. You can also check out beta.destructoid.com to check out the new look that we're going to be rolling out within 30 days. Nero and his team of engineers have been working very hard on it. Looks a lot like the old site, but a lot cleaner, and there's a lot more new stuff to play with. It's going to be cool. You can also watch the Jimquisition, which I do every Monday. That's at escapistmagazine.com. This week was called Sony's Begging for Piracy, which was about some PS Vita stuff, a lot of the stuff we talked about on this show last week. And that's it. You can, as always, give us some lovely reviews on iTunes if you want. You can buy an app on Android for us. It's $2. Get it on the Amazon App Store. It just gives you episodes to your phone. It's more just a show of support for us, really. And that's it. You can just catch us next week if you want. Bye.
And you can follow Podtoid on Twitter at Podtoid. And you can follow me on Twitter at CTZ. And you fuckers plug your things.
I'm at Tron Nuts. And you're at Conrad Zimmerman, right, Conrad?
I am.
Yeah. You're at Jim Sterling.
At Jim Sterling.
Yeah,
he is.
Just do that if you want. You can join
Or not.
Yoshida in reading my tweets about poo.
And you can follow at Baby Detectives.
No, don't.
It's Baby Police. I think it's like Police Baby or something.
Oh, God.
You can follow at Podtoid Quotes.
Yeah. Oh yeah, follow at Podtoid Quotes. I still don't know who set that up, but it's great. So that's cool. And also search on YouTube for Baby Police. Those weird filmmakers in Ghana actually did make a movie called Baby Police, and there's a trailer on YouTube for it. Not in response to ours. They'd already done this because it's a Ghanaian film, and that's what they do. So yeah, I'll see you next week, and as will we all. Bye.
Bye.
Cancer.